Hey guys, it's Olivie Blake, and this is me not writing. So this will be very quick. I am very pleased to tell you that nobody had any urgent personal disasters for me to deal with this week. So instead, all I'm going to tell you is that the My Brilliant Friend discussion is now available for you on Tumblr. It was definitely a lot of rambling for me. I sort of just wrote out everything. I obviously have so many feelings about this book, this whole series, and I think that it can sometimes be harder to talk about a book that you love as opposed to a book that you feel critical of or wish had done more. I don't know what this book could possibly do that would be more. I think one of the main things that I see when it comes to not necessarily criticism of the book, but just one of the comments I see a lot is like, are you team Leela or team Lanu? And I think this is a very pointless question. I mean, I think that the books are really about, you know, as much as Lanu is the author, she is the writer, she takes the primary point of view. The book is about that like knife edge of the balance between their friendship, which makes it kind of perfect for last week's discussion about friend breakups and just the overarching significance of the female friendships in our lives, especially as there's this sort of undeniable push and pull. It's like these two are tied together from this one event in their childhood, their shared poverty, their shared desire to be rid of poverty, the craving for class mobility that one of them is able to access and the other is not. There's an arguable difference there, but the idea of using education for class mobility is present for one and not the other. And so we kind of get to see one person's life and the life that they could have had, like almost like mirror images of each other. But the whole time they're tied together, this sort of like, and they have tons of breakups like throughout the book. The first book is kind of a good example of how they kind of like are in and out of each other's lives in terms of importance. Lots of times they decide that they don't want to see each other anymore because it's not pushing them forward, etc. And then sometimes that resurgence, re-emergence, usually of Leela and Lanu's life, is enough to push some more. So yeah, really interesting. There's lots of interesting things to talk about in terms of the men that are in the books. Basically, the men that are most important in the series as a whole are introduced in this first book. But of course, why talk about them, especially because like I would just spoil things because I have a lot to say about both Enzo and Nino. So yeah, if you've read the books, we can talk about them. If you decided to pick up one of her other books, the more like explosive ones that are more, they're like episodic features of an intense emotion of insecurity or of anger or betrayal. If you want to talk about those books, you are welcome to. This is an author I love. I could talk about her all day. So yeah. The other thing is my birthday is coming up. I do not need you to wish me happy birthday. That's not why I'm bringing it up. But because I did do something for my birthday, it will post, I'm not 100% sure. What I'm thinking right now is that I will post 3 separate one-shots. And essentially what they are is Jane Austen meets some sort of supernatural aspect. I'm currently calling it Once Upon a Handhold. So it's a little bit like Jane Austen mashed up with a fairy tale. So I have written 1.5. I'm thinking I can do another 1.5 by my birthday. It's also a project I may continue to add to as the year goes on. It should be, so if you haven't actually read the work or watched the movie or whatever, you should still sort of be able to figure out what's going on. I have altered the plots to make room for a supernatural or fairy tale element. I think I'm gonna do one-shots in a collection, and I'm going to call it right now. For now, I'm going to call it Once Upon a Handhold. I will probably post some design, something. I spent this morning putting together a baby website because people have been bugging me about that. So yeah, this is obviously going to be a very quiet birthday. We cannot go anywhere or do anything. I find it very funny. People have sort of been asking, like, multiple people have asked like, oh, are you getting a lot of people giving you parenting advice or like trying to touch your belly? And it's like, I haven't seen another human being. I haven't seen a human being that wasn't my husband in like a million years. So on the plus side, I don't really have anyone bugging me. On the minus side, I sort of thought people would care. Like now that I'm visibly pregnant, I sort of thought that people would be like more nice to me. Like in my once a week, I go to the grocery store because that's just the easiest thing for me to do. And it doesn't really make sense to me to like make someone else get my groceries, slash that's quite an expense. And so Mr. Blake is like shouting. He's currently riding inside. The other reason that I couldn't really do a video is because it's raining and so Mr. Blake is not leaving the house. So yeah, it's convenient that nobody needs anything from me. I'm mostly thinking about the chocolate cake that I'm going to have for my birthday. It's a chocolate with whipped cream from Angel Made Bakery. It is one of my favorite things. But yeah, so no reason to stick around here while my husband is literally shouting in the background. The discussion has posted. My birthday is coming up, so keep an eye on my Tumblr and all my social media for my 3 one-shots that are going to come out. I also typically do a short story for Calabrina's birthday, which is a little over a week after mine. So I have an idea, not even an entire idea, but just sort of like a character's attitude or maybe a line of dialogue. And that's what I've got so far. So we'll see if I can turn that into something. Valentine's Day is going to sneak up on me. I'm gonna not be caught by surprise. We'll see. This has been me, Olivie Blake, not writing, and we'll see you next week, assuming that you need anything. Otherwise, maybe not. Maybe everything is fixed. Maybe it's 2021, like 45's out of office. Everything's fixed. It's not fixed. But you know, it's a fun thought. Maybe temporarily we're all fine. So anyway, this has been me, Olivie Blake, not writing, and I'll see you next week.